Hello everyone, and this is Annapurna this side. Welcome to RVM Finishing School of Finance. So today we would be discussing another very good session on PowerPoint, which is table designing. Basically, in the earlier classes, I showed you how you have to insert a table, drawing a table, inserting a Excel spreadsheet inside your PowerPoint, then designing a table with just plain rows and columns and few more editing options of tables. Today, what different we are going to do is I'll show you definitely that how I have inserted a table and a data inside the table. Along with that, we'll also design a background, a graphical background for the table with, using different font style plus a lot of color variety. So let me show you how exactly our table is going to look like. So yes, that is the table which you can see. So it has lot of elements added to it. Like there's a table normally which we use by making rows and columns. Certainly the rows and columns here couldn't be seen because I have used a different layout to show the numbers. And there is a shape which is added. There is lot of gradient color stops being used. There's a background image which has been inserted. Then you can see a very different in a very different way the title is being shown. So we'll talk about each of the element included in this slide and I'll help you out in making the same again. So let us get started. Yeah, to show you, I have taken this image from unsplash.com, unsplash.com. It has been taken from unsplash.com. I've just given a hint of, getting me through calculation, and I came across this image which I found would be suitable for my background for this table. And yes, I want to show you one more thing here is I always work on a plain screen, as you all know. So I'll just delete the layouts which you can see here, the text boxes, and let me work on something which is plain. And as soon as you download your image on your PowerPoint and you get it here, you might get it like this. The a smaller in size or into some different shape. What you have to do is I have design idea option because I'm working on Microsoft Office 365. People at that end do not have the updated version. You all might be working on Office 13 or 16, and so for them you first have to spread the image across the slide, all across the slide. And for people who have design idea options can simply click on the design ideas and select the first option, which is going to spread the image automatically in all the corners of the slide. So we are going to work on Office 365, and people who are working on the old versions of Microsoft Office can simply drag the image by dragging the last corner pointers of the image. So I don't need this design idea tool as of now, so I'll just close this. This is one way of spreading the picture. Now let me step by step show you what exactly I did here. So I just first inserted the image, and now we are going to create this top thing by using gradient stop. In my earlier classes I showed you how gradient stops are used to fill color and make a background. Same thing will be done here. I'll go to insert, we'll go to shape, and then we'll take a rectangle. Same way, the way the image is spreaded, I am going to spread the rectangle like this. Now, as soon as I insert a shape, we know that we get the shape formatting option. And either from here or even on my right click, I'll get formatting option. I'll click on shape format, and inside this, I'll move to fill. From fill, we can see that the solid fill option is already selected, which is going to give a look like this. No fill will again have nothing filled. So we will move to gradient fill. Right. Now, as I clicked on gradient fill, two colors are already selected because maybe when I was working last time on this PowerPoint, I have selected black color. But if we go back to this slide, we can see a combination of navy blue and brown color, and that is what I want to create the same thing. So I'll go to gradient fill option and I'll stop at this first one and we'll select a navy blue color. Basically, this is dark blue, purple. I think dark blue works good. I'll take dark blue. And the next stop, I'm going to fill the next stop with a brown color, as you can see in the image. Right? I got the colors of my selection. Why it didn't happen there? Because we were working on a different slide. You have to select on the shape that you want to fill the colors with. So I'm again going to select the colors navy blue and brown. I got it. Now again the image is invisible now. I will go to the transparency bar and I'll just start moving the bar, and I'll also increase the brightness so that I can also see the brown color flow. I think this looks fine. Now I have a blue color throw on the top and a brown color throw in the bottom. If I feel like changing the direction, I can do it from here. You can change the color direction from here. Brown, navy blue here. Okay? We have different options to make the color flow work on properly. So basically, I think this looks good for me, right? Now, from here, you can also change the type of color flow. So it is in linear. You can also get it to radical. You can also change it to rectangle and also to path. I normally don't use path because I have a lot of text which I use which will be in the center. So I normally don't go with path. I go with linear or radical. Both of them works good for me. So for this slide, I'm taking radical. Now, next thing is getting this shape. So basically it's a rectangle with rounded corners. And from where will I get my shape? I will get my shape from insert. I'll go to insert shapes and I can directly take this rounded corners rectangle and I'll start drawing a shape like this. Done. Now, one thing you can do is if you feel like having the exact color and if you have a choice to pick the color using an eyedropper, please go for it, or else you can select the color from your color palette. You have two options to do it. So first let me try if I can get this similar color here using an eyedropper. I'll select the shape, I'll go to shape fill option and I'll click on eyedropper and I'll try to see. I can get a navy blue color. I got it here. This works fine for me, looking good. Now inside the shape you have the table inserted. Let me make the shape little big so that our table should fit inside properly. I think this looks fine. Now I'm going to go to insert option and I'm going to select the table. I'm just scrolling through because we are going to work as an example of inserting a table. So this looks good for me, 4 by 6, and I am going to drag this here. Now what I'll do is I'll stretch my table because I want it to fit into the shape properly. And from the corners, I'll shrink it a bit. Now, for me, this is fine. Now, but the image or the slide which I am showing you doesn't have rows and columns. So first, let us begin typing the data inside and then we'll work on the formatting option. Same thing, I'm going to put some numbers. For example, let us have names of students who scored certain marks in different subjects. So marks in languages. So I'll take English, then we'll take Hindi, and then we'll take French as a language, right? And my text should be centered. So I'm pressing this from the paragraph option to get the text in the center. And I will also drag it a little bit more. Then here I'll start adding names. So first let add one name, and then I'll add another name. Then I will add one more name, and I'll fill the whole row with the names. Right? Now I'll start adding numbers, which are basically marks according to my data. And the numbers are like this. Oh, sorry. I have my data ready. If you feel like making the other text in the center, getting it in the center, you can do it by using center option from the paragraph tab. Now, what I did is I clicked on the table, I went to table design option, and from the table styles, I have taken the very first style, which has no style, no grid. The grids are not present. I have taken that. Now, the text is very small that it couldn't be seen. So let us just increase the size of the text, or else you can also decrease them a little bit, and the names also, and then numbers little bit. Now this looks fine to me. And the first thing what I did is I have again given the header row a kind of different color shade. I'll do that here again. I will select this whole thing. I'll go to gradient fill option again. Now, as I soon clicked on the gradient fill, it has filled this with the same color choices which we made earlier. But I don't need the same colors, so we will select different shade colors from here. To get that same theme here, I have used black, and I'll be using the same color here as well. And after choosing the colors at the gradient stops, I am going to increase the transparency level and also decrease the brightness levels. You can just check. So the text is not to be seen because the text is in black color. So let us change the text into white color. Got it? Same thing. The way it is here, you got it here. The only changes we did is we have taken all the titles in capitals. If you feel like making them into a different sentence case, select all of them on your home tab. Go to this option to change the case of your sentence, and then from here you can change it into center case or into lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word. I think capitalize each word works well. Let us select this, and let us do the same thing for this as well. Capitalize each word, and we did it. So here is the data, and let me also change the text color here and make it white. And I feel that this text looks a little bigger. Let me, change it to a little smaller in size, and even the numbers. Now this looks fine. The table is ready. What thing I did next is I again went back to insert, and I have taken a shape this time, again a rectangle. I'm making that sidebar wherein I have this table design. I've made a shape. I again went to gradient fill, and I will again select colors for the stops, and I'm again going to select black this time. The color choice is up to you because everyone have a different taste for colors. So accordingly you can get the colors. You can increase or decrease the brightness. and move the gradient stop to get that setting done properly. Right, now here I'll click on the shape, right click again, and I'll say edit text. Now we have rotated the rectangle in vertical form, so we have to very carefully type our text. For example, if I type the text like this, it is going to look like this. So what I have to do for this, first I'll type T, I'll say enter, A, again enter, B, enter, L, enter, E, enter twice or thrice to maintain a good distance, D, E, again enter, S, enter, I, G, enter, N. This is my table design. From here, I'm going to take different font for it, and I'm going to increase the size. Right? So this is how I made a table. I know it is little different from what we already did because the font size or font type which I've used is different. You can again change it from here and make it Times New Roman. You'll get the same thing. You can also have the data changed into different font, which is Times New Roman again. And you'll get your data table created like this. Now I can see that I've not maintained a proper distance between the slide border and the line of the shape. So I'm going to move my shape a little bit to make it in center properly. And I'll also move my table. Right? That is what I wanted to create. And let us see how it looks after putting it on slideshow mode. Here is your table design, which is ready. So in the same way, you can design tables with having a different image in the background. For example, now I was presenting something which was numbers. You might have a presentation which will have a different data set. So according to the data set you're going to talk about in your presentation, you can have a picture relevant at the background. As I was representing numbers, I wanted something, little similar or nearby similar to numerical thing, and that is the reason I have selected that image at the background. Thank you so much for watching this video. In my next tutorial we would be discussing another element of PowerPoint. Thank you.